Hi Year 3, so this is the last lesson of our recap of division. I hope you have been enjoying the week of division. We are going to be focusing on our 8 times table today. Now if you don't know this off by heart, that doesn't matter. You can use the 8 times table document which is saved in today's file that's got the 8 times tables on for you. You can also watch the YouTube link of the Counting 8s video, which you will remember from doing at school. Okay, so we're going to be using the inverse today as well to check that our answers make sense. So remember, the inverse is the opposite. We've been doing this throughout the week. So in this example, if we were trying to figure out what 24 divided by 8 was, we can use what we know, and if we know that 8 times 3 equals 24, then we know that 24 divided by 8 equals 3. So here is a question which I would like you to have a go at on your own, so you can pause the video. You are going to draw a number line and you are going to solve the question 32 divided by 8. We want to know how many groups are of 8 there are in 32. So press pause. I would also like you to write the inverse multiplication number sentence too once you have done this, and then come back and check the answer. Okay, so we are going to start on 0. We're going to count up in our 8s. We go to 8, 16, 24, 32. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. So 32 divided by 8 equals 4. Now the inverse is 8 times 4 equals 32. Okay? Right, so the next one I'd like you to have a go at on your own, please. Remember, jump up in 8s on your number line. So press pause and then come back to check your answer. Okay, so some of you in my class might have already been able to do this in your head without having to jump up in your number line, because we've got a little song or a rhyme to go with it. So I ate and I ate till I was sick on the floor. 8 8s are 64. So 64 divided by 8 equals 8. So hopefully you would have done 8 jumps along your number line. And then the inverse multiplication sentence is therefore 8 times 8 equals 64. Okay, and have a go at this one. You can jump up on a number line counting 8s, but you could use known facts to help you. If you know what 8 times, do we know what it is? 8 times something equals 88. You can have a look at your sheet if you need to. 8 times 11 is 88. So if you did your number lines, you would have jumped up 11 times. Or you use what you know, you use the inverse to help you solve the division question. Okay, and this is the last one we're going to be looking at today. So sometimes calculations have got remainders. We touched on that yesterday, and we've touched on it when you were all in school. So this example says 36 divided by 8, and we've got an answer which has 4 remainder 4. So let's have a go and see why our answer is 4 remainder 4. So we've done our first jump of 8, 2, 3, 4. Our next jump of 8 would take us to 40. We don't want to go to 40, we need to stop at 36. Now 36 isn't in the 8 times table, which is why we have a remainder. It's what's left over. So 36 is smaller than 40, it's not in the 8 times table, so we need to work out what the difference is between 32 and 36. So the difference between 32 and 36 is 4, which is why we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 full jumps. We haven't completed our 5th jump because we're not going to 40. So we've done 4 full jumps and we've got 4 left over, which is our remainder. So 4 remainder 4. Now you've got some questions like that in your sheet today, so just make sure that that number isn't in the times table, okay, and that you might have some left over. Right, so today's sheet, you're going to be using a number line to work out these calculations. And then a challenge, once you've done your number line for them, is to write them in the inverse. Now, some of you might have the 8 times table sheet next to you. I don't just want you to look at that and write the answer down, because we are learning the process of using a number line and how that can help us to divide. And it's important to know that method, because you will have some calculations that have got remainders and you won't be able to necessarily do those in your head. So that's why we're focusing on the number line. So do the number line for those, and then in a different colour pencil you can write the inverse. So for this one you would do 8 times whatever your answer was equals 32. Okay? So this next one, you need to work out which numbers can be divided by 8 without a remainder. So it's up to you which method you choose. You might want to draw your number line. You might want to share them into parts. Or you might want to group them. Now, some of them are very big numbers. You're not going to group 800, are you? You're not necessarily going to want to group 64 or share out 64. So think about which method is the most effective, and then figure out which numbers are in the 8 times table and which ones aren't, and which ones will need a remainder. And then your last question, you'll solve it. You need to figure out which bar model represents the question. So Rowan shares 24 sweets equally between 8 friends. How many do they get each? Okay, so which bar model represents that question, and you need to say why, and you also need to figure out the answer. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed the week of recapping division, and have a lovely weekend. I will be back soon with another video. Bye.